let's talk about the ye old being nominated again for journalism, because there's been a lot of talk about it, and everyone's given an opinion. While I was away, I saw Adam Fitch, who did a little video about it. I caught, obviously, Return of By the Numbers with Semler and Duncan, and they were talking a little bit about the nominations and how bad it is. And the problem I've always got is, so for those of you who know, I am on the panel of the Esports Awards, obviously. I am now not just a member of, the board. I'm also a member of the panel. And so I get to influence how we do the awards. But because I'm such a stickler on the ethics things, I don't do any of it as it relates to journalism. I don't speak out about who I think should or shouldn't be on the list. I don't try and influence the awards in any way, because my assumption is I'll probably get nominated. Last time I was nominated, last year or whatever it was, I was nominated, and I recorded a video saying you absolutely should not nominate me, and because everyone has to give a speech or provide a PDF, saying why they should win. So I submitted mine and said I shouldn't have been nominated. It's not too late. You can unnominate me. I won't be sad about it. I did nothing. I showed them how little I'd done. And then I said, you should probably, these people have all done work that I'm really envious of and admire. So, maybe think about them this year. So I suppose that's technically influencing it. But I did that after I discounted myself from the award. I was like, listen, there's no way I should win it this year. So anyway, I got nominated this time. This time I think I'm pretty good value for the nomination. I think I've done some pretty good work. But I got to say, in general, I was a bit disappointed with the nominations overall. This is the finalist list. And there's just a lot of inconsistencies and some strange things, and it's there's some big names missing as well, in my opinion. But I'm just speaking now as someone that cares about this shit, and I'm not here for self-promotion or anything like that. This is the final list, and as I said, speaking candidly, I think I'm good value for a nomination this year. I think I deserve it with the type of work I've done. I will always be the first to say if I think I don't. I think I'm easily worthy of a nomination. Kevin Hitt, I think, is also worthy of a nomination. Jacob Wolf, I think, is also worthy of a nomination. There are some names there you might not even recognize. So just to let you know, Shandy Texera is a journalist for Globo News, which is the Brazilian outlet. Antonio Yuste, that is the guy that is, I think he's the guy who does Esports Maniacos. If memory serves me correctly, again, apologies. If not, obviously, there are language barriers there. But I'll say, listen, I think it's also great that we recognize journalists that do write in non-English. I think that's important. The metric shouldn't be, is it English journalism? I think journalism, obviously, regardless of whether or not I can read it as it's written natively, it's irrelevant. Is the work good? And I think it's very important that we do expand the award in this sense and stop being so, for want of a better word, Anglo-centric or whatever, So I'm pretty happy about that expanding. And again, I know Antonio is more of a roster move guy, but they do a lot of cool stuff as well. And I don't think roster moves should discount you. And I think Globo News is a very big Brazilian outlet. And from what I can tell, Shandy Texera has done great work over there. So that's fine. Now, this is where it starts to get weird, because there are names on this list that are missing. I don't know if we have to have these, it is 9. I don't know if we have to have limitations. But maybe we do. And if we do, then we've got some problems, because we're going to have to start refining and, making some hard decisions about what really journalism is. For me, the 4 names that should have been here with us is Cecilia D'Anastasia. Again, She's done all the stuff around Reginald and the bullying, and she's covered that over at Wired, and I think she's at Forbes now. We've got a bit of a blind spot in esports journalism for people that write for mainstream outlets and not endemic outlets. It's a bit embarrassing. And with that said, obviously that also means that probably the guys at the Washington Post, which there's a guy there, probably the most notable journalist there, is a guy called Mikhail Kilmentov. He should have been on this list as well, in my opinion. He's covered a lot of lawsuits, covered a lot of stuff. It's not behind a paywall. Everyone can read it. It's consistently good. Should have been there. Obviously, as well, George Geddes being left off the list. If you're going to put LEC Wooloo on, which is the Briuxiga, if you're going to put him on the list, then you are saying there is value in roster moves. And if there's value in roster moves, then George absolutely nails roster moves consistently. He's a beat journalist over in Valorant. He should have been on the list, but he wasn't. And it was a bit strange to see that he wasn't, and I'm not quite sure why. And I've seen a lot of people are like saying, look, Wooloo shouldn't be there. I'm not saying that. I don't like the way he's conducted himself for a journalist. But again, if breaking roster moves has value and you're one of the best at it, you should be on a list of journalists recognizing that. So the other name, which I thought it was staggering that he wasn't on, and obviously, full disclosure, I work with him. He's an editor at Deserto. But Lewis Mira is like, it's ridiculous he's not on this list. I think he has done unbelievably consistently good work this year. He's broke stories. He's done interviews that get really good sound bites, really good ones you can use in context, not like other publications that have this like lurid quote divorced of any context, and you go, yeah, but what if, oh, he didn't really mean that, did he? Okay, right, yeah, he was joking, yeah, or something along those lines. And he actually was one of the first journalists, and I don't mind saying this, made me think about doing more of it, that was really covering the war in Ukraine and how it impacted on esports in an interesting way. In fact, I would go so far as to say, in terms of coverage, Deserto is ahead of almost everyone. The only other publication I've seen do like a serious article was Washington Post. Lewis covered the Na'Vi CEO going out to the front lines, covered, Simple and stuff, given to charity, did loads of unbelievable like work and interviews and stuff. And obviously me, I've been doing this, Esports Iron Curtain series, which, spoiler, the next one gets really good. Because I've interviewed a bunch of Russian esports workers that are all getting fucked over, and they're all being subject to witch hunts. And there's a group of people that work in esports that are trying to force them they're saying, if you don't publicly call out Putin, we will make a note of it and ruin your life and you'll never work in esports again. And, some people who've been working for, let's say, big organizations, they've had their money held back because obviously it's very hard to process, or at least that appears to be the excuse. So I'm just putting that all together, but that article has to be done. That has to be scrutinized unbelievably because people's safety's on the line, So that one's going to take a little bit more baking in the oven, But anyway, so I'm definitely proud of all the work Deserto's done around that. Lewis should have been on this list. Let's also talk about this. I love Adam Fitch. He's a real one. And Adam Fitch, for me, I wish we'd had more time working with each other. Our time at Deserto together was fleeting. I think he's got a lot of potential. I like what he's doing. By the way, if you ever get bored, this month, if you were missing a gruff northerner complaining about esports and you've had your fill of Thorin, Go watch Adam Fitch. He's got this esports podcast called Cyber Athletics, and he's talking about all the stuff I'm talking about, the sports washing and all of this stuff. It's really good, and he's a straight talker like myself. But he shouldn't be on this list this year because he Didn't get to do a lot of work towards the end of his tenure at Deserto. And then he went over to Hitmarker, and he's not really breaking news now. He's more commentary. So he did an episode of the show talking about this. This is why I'm doing mine. Like, and he said, yeah, I shouldn't be on this list. Like, he's like, I don't know why the fuck I am. And he would be more than happy to be dropped and free up a spot for one of those other 4 names. As I said, probably the 2 that really stand out is obviously Lewis and George for me, but Cecilia and Mikhail are good value as well. Like, that's just the reality. We need to get better on that, I think. And when we get to the end of the awards, even though I usually don't do anything around this particular award, I'll probably just write a little letter, summarizing what I'm talking about now. In fact, I don't know why, because hi, I know you're watching this. They watch my streams, don't they? So anyway, here's another one. Ashley Kang. Now, I've got no issue with Ashley Kang's work. I don't like some of the things she's done in the past. She was one of the people that was very happy to pander to the Reddit moderators on League of Legends. She was one of those journalists who was like, please, you're super important. I won't stand in solidarity with my fellow journalists as long as my work can get on the subreddit. Some people are like that, and then they complain when those monsters you make come and get you. Right? For me, the only way to treat Reddit moderators that want to act as editors is you tell them to fuck off. You eat shit. Fuck you. Absolutely no. You're a janitor on a forum. Fuck you. Anything else is outrageous. She also worked with some, I think, Reddit user called like Corey Lulu or something, and they basically make a bot that automatically submits stuff to the subreddit, and everyone knows it. And it's like, why that's allowed, I don't know. I'm pretty actually sure that's like any form of automated submission is meant to be against Reddit's TOS. I mean, again, that's what we were told back in the day when it applied to me. All these rules that you can't find anywhere. But Corey Lulu, that Reddit user, basically used to have her work immediately submitted. It's just a bot. So, they get the karma. Her work is guaranteed to get to the front page. And that feels a little bit, cheap or weird or whatever. But fine, whatever, The bottom line is she does really good interviews in multiple languages with, targets that ordinary interviewers wouldn't get, and that has immense value. But the problem you've got is if you put her in this award and then you ignore other people that do interviews and create content, etc. Like I saw Travis Gafford, because he's still making video content. I was like super surprised about that. I was like, what? Travis I thought he just, I thought he had just admitted he was the mouth of Sauron the whole time and was just out there shilling for Riot. But no, he's still doing it. He's still making content. And I was like, well, listen, is he good for a nomination? I don't watch League of Legends content anymore, but maybe. And then we start swirling down, don't we? And we get to the inevitable, and people are going to say, oh, you're biased. But I think, you would know I'm not biased. If Ashley Kang's on this list, Thorin has to be on the list. And he's not. So you end up with anybody who does long form compelling interviews and podcasts now sort of has to be considered. And also Ashley gets nominated for content creator, right? Because she does also create content. And maybe that's a better fit. So I don't know. I feel like the award kind of needs a bit of refinement or a bit of expansion. I don't really know. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, her inclusion as journalist, for me, raises questions that why wouldn't it be someone else as well? I'm using Thorin and Travis as like examples, but there's probably every scene probably has somebody that does interviews and podcasts, right? So yeah, a bit strange for me in terms of the field. Oh, and I haven't talked about Liz Richardson, which is a bit remiss of me, so I apologize. I don't have any strong feelings about her inclusion. I've seen her work come up on occasion. She's from Overwatch, obviously for me. I think that is a hermetically sealed, tightly controlled scene where Activision Blizzard, if you say anything bad about them, blacklist you. and that makes all work on Activision Blizzard games essentially suspect unless it's coming from certain names. But Liz has worked with Jacob, and they've shared bylines. So, I'll say fine. No issue with that at all. And there you go. And those are my thoughts. I mean, for me, if it wasn't already too late, which it is, it would be good to include those other names. But it's, they do take improvement very seriously at the Esports Award, and I'm sure all the concerns have been heard, all the feedback's been heard, and let's be real, I want to win. So there, so I can do my little. Oh no, he's signaling to his alt-right base. Because I'll be a 3-time. That's the significance of that. Get all the negative gamer press, and just have some fun at their expense. I'm just saying, it would be great. It would be great. But whatever. There's a few names on this list that I feel like are very strong nominations. Some are less strong, and I feel that we sort of need to just have a broader discussion around, who should, what type of work should get you a nomination and which one shouldn't.